again!
It's over!
He's done it again! Unbelievable!
Oh, straight into the roof of the net.
Nice one.
Straight down the middle. So a good performance from both teams here today.
Hi, welcome to Firstpost. I'm Rupha Ramani. Let's get started. On the show today, the fallout of the Indian men's cricket team loss to New Zealand is gathering momentum. Pakistan's great Wasim Akram taunts India, saying this team will be beaten handsomely by Pakistan, creating a bit of a furore. But is the head coach facing all the heat? What are the repercussions of this defeat? Meanwhile, Imane Khelif is back in the middle of a raging storm. This because of a medical report that got leaked that shows it isn't just the XY chromosome. That's a bit of a concern. Stay on to know more about this and who is the new Manchester United manager, Ruben Amorim. He claims fans could call him the next Alex Ferguson. With little experience managing no experience in fact managing any English side, how has Amorim landed the big job? All of that in the show today, but first a look at the headlines on Sports 360. Starting with tennis, world number 1 Aryna Sabalenka continued her winning run at the WTA finals. Sabalenka beat Yasmin Paolini 6-3, 7-5 in straight sets. The Belarusian will face Elena Rybakina in her final group stage match. Over in football, Neymar suffered another injury scare in just his second game since his return to professional football. After a year-long break, the Brazilian was subbed off in Al Hilal's 3-0 win over Esteghlal at the AFC Champions League. A football player in Peru died after being struck by lightning. The bizarre incident occurred in the city of Huancayo, where 2 local teams were playing a football game. It's also reported that 5 others were injured because of this. Over in cricket, Bangladesh all-rounder Shakib Al Hasan has been reported for a suspect bowling action. The incident occurred in a one-off appearance for Surrey in county championships this September in fact. Shakib had picked up 9 wickets against Somerset in the match. The umpires have asked Shakib to get his action analysed by the ECB. And the Indian Olympic Association, or the IOA, have expressed their desire to host the 2036 Olympics edition. The IOA, in fact, sent a letter of intent to International Olympic Committee, or the IOC, expressing their wish to host the mega event. The humiliating loss at the hands of New Zealand has generated a lot of outrage, with India's chances of qualifying for the World Test Championship final receiving a severe beating. It's opened a ton of criticism from experts, fans of course leading that outburst on the side. It has brought in taunts and a lot of self-doubts too. I'll tackle all of this one by one. Let's look at criticism first. All eyes are now on the Border-Gavaskar Trophy, where India will take on Australia in an away series. A big blow for the Indian side will be the absence of Rohit Sharma, their skipper, for the first test, the series opener. That doesn't bode too well for the Indian side, the visiting side in fact, pretty similar to what happened last time India scripted something memorable against Australia. Virat Kohli, who was the captain back then, was unavailable for the second part of the series, and Ajinkya Rahane stepped up to lead the team to what is till date one of their most memorable Test series wins. Now, even before India has named the stand-in skipper for that match that Rohit Sharma will miss, commentator, former cricketer Sunil Gavaskar has jumped in, saying that it would be best to have one skipper captain India for the entire series instead.
I've been reading that Rohit Sharma might not play the first 2 tests of the Australia series. I feel that in that case, the selection committee should appoint Jasprit Bumrah, the captain of the side, for the entire Australia tour, and tell Rohit Sharma that you will participate as a player in the series.
He says the series against Australia is too important to let the captaincy be split. Rohit Sharma will have to relinquish that for the entire series to someone else. That's what Gavaskar has said, and it's opened a lot of reactions. That's not all. Many former cricketers have also weighed in on the debacle that India never dreamed of. some harsh words in there, and understandable this because it is in fact only the second time that India, this Indian cricket team, the men's team, has experienced a whitewash, especially at home, which has been a bit of a fortress for the side. Now we come to the taunts. The biggest of them all has come from Pakistan and a former great, Wasim Akram, who said this.
Pakistan have a chance to beat India in tests now on a spinning track. They have been hammered by New Zealand 3-0 at home.
He says Pakistan can beat this Indian side. Now, I get the boast. After all, this side just handed a team like England a very comprehensive defeat at home. Their spinners ran riot and brought England to a resounding defeat. This statement by Akram has not gone down too well with many. But the worst thing to happen as a repercussion to that 3-0 series loss has been the murmurs of self-doubt. BCCI is set to have closed-door discussions with the skipper Rohit Sharma and the newly appointed head coach Gautam Gambhir. There are reports that a lot of what happens with Gautam Gambhir here on depends on what will go down during the Border-Gavaskar Trophy. There are talks of his free reign being curbed, all the privileges that he enjoys to be clipped. When he came on board, Gambhir had many conditions, had many demands, and every single one of them was met by the BCCI after, of course, a lot of negotiations. Gambhir had asked for more say in the selection process, something even his predecessors, Ravi Shastri and Rahul Dravid, did not have. And with this loss, all of that will come under heavy review. That's what reports say. KL Rahul and Dhruv Jurel on the side have been sent earlier to Australia than what was planned to get used to the conditions and get some practice under their belt. There will also be some serious jitters within the team that we're already experiencing. All of this, in fact, adding on to that, because what's needed to qualify for that WTC final is a daunting proposition. 5 wins. The Australian counterparts, though, consider India a bit of a wounded tiger. Their pacer, Josh Hazlewood, has in fact called India sleeping giants who you can't take lightly at any time, under any situation. More so now when they are under the pump, behind the 8 ball, but are hopefully gearing up to pounce. A challenging few months then awaits this Indian cricket team, and something in transition. Algerian boxer and Olympic gold medalist Imane Khelif is caught in another storm. The controversy is the same, the gender identification and the accusations of her being a man competing in a woman's category, an issue that has been a long-standing one. It escalated after Khelif won gold at the Paris Olympics in the welterweight category. In the past, governing bodies, fans, athletes and celebrities were concerned only by the XY chromosome present, or better known as a genetic condition that led to higher testosterone levels in Khelif. Many prominent voices like Elon Musk and J.K. Rowling had even questioned Khelif's inclusion in the women's category. Fans even demanded Khelif's Olympic medal to be stripped off. Now, it's been over 2 months since the Paris Olympics concluded, yet the controversy refuses to die down, and this time the allegations are much more severe. The latest developments in the case come after a medical report got leaked claiming Khelif to be a man rather than a female. The report that's leaked describes Khelif's biological traits, such as the existence of internal testicles and the lack of a uterus. Though the medical report isn't new, it was drafted in 2023 in a Paris hospital. It led, of course, to a huge backlash. Additionally, what's interesting, of course, is the timing of this leak. The leak came just a day after US presidential candidate Donald Trump featured Khelif in one of his campaign videos. That's right, a video where Trump denounces the Biden-Harris administration's views on women and athletics. And to do that, Trump used Khelif's Olympic victory as an example. Because after Khelif knocked out Italian boxer Angela Carini, many American politicians criticized Khelif. Kamala Harris was accused of supporting Khelif's inclusion, but the Democrat candidate stayed silent on the subject. And ever since then, Trump has used this matter to take jibes at Kamala Harris. So just a day before the USA elections voting, Trump once again used Khelif to hit back at Kamala Harris. And a day later, the medical reports questioning Khelif's gender comes out. Because the tests aren't current, as I mentioned, they are more than a year old. This is not the first time Khelif, though, finds herself in this position. Throughout the Paris Olympic campaign, she faced the brunt of fans and prominent voices. And just some weeks ago, rumors started doing the rounds that Khelif had been stripped of her medal and banned for life by the World Boxing Organization, or the WBO, till a WBO spokesperson quashed all those rumors. Now, with this medical report surfacing, fans are once again asking Khelif to be stripped of her medal. Of course, we've got to ask who's answerable to this chaotic situation that has developed. Is it Imane Khelif, or is it the IOC or the boxing governing body? Given the backlash, and I feel all of them, because in the past too, when Khelif's gender was questioned, the IOC kept backing Khelif.
This involves real people, and we're talking about real people's lives here. They have competed and they continue to compete in the women's competition. They have lost and they have won against other women throughout over the years. And by the way, this should make this absolutely clear for everyone, this is not a transgender issue.
It wasn't just the IOC. Even when in the middle of all that heat and the criticism, Khelif, in fact, after clinching the gold medal in Paris, came out defending herself.
I am fully qualified to take part in this competition. I am a woman like any other woman. I was born a woman. I lived a woman. I competed as a woman. There's no doubt about that.
So just like how Imane Khelif, the boxer, and IOC clarified their collective stance in the past, they need to do it now, because once again, Khelif's gender has come into scrutiny, which puts not just the boxer in jeopardy, but also the credibility of the IOC, because they stood by Khelif, backed Khelif, and they claimed that she was within the rules to compete. Now, with this medical report out, does their decision change? How is this going to impact Khelif, who's already had to endure quite an emotional journey over the last many years? A trauma that the boxer has had to undergo every step of the way. And how will Khelif now look to counter this is what we'll have to wait and see. Manchester United's new manager, Ruben Amorim, is set to take on Manchester City in Champions League. Not taking charge as the United manager, of course, but it is one of his last few fixtures at the helm with current club Sporting CP. Building up to that clash, Amorim has made quite a strong statement, comparing himself to United's greatest manager, Alex Ferguson. He feels United fans would call him the new Alex Ferguson if he pulls a rabbit out of the hat here in the upcoming fixture. So before any of that happens, here's a little backgrounder on the Portuguese manager. How did he manage to land the big job with little experience? Maybe they are counting on yet another Portuguese luck to rub off on this club. Take a look.
Manchester United showed Erik ten Hag the door and appointed Portuguese manager Ruben Amorim within a week. Enough to remind fans that the club is looking for a long-term partnership and is hoping for a steady run under Amorim, because before he was appointed as manager, some big names were linked to the club. Experienced campaigners like Gareth Southgate, Graham Potter, Simone Inzaghi and Javi all with impressive portfolios turned down. And United went ahead with a young manager with no experience of coaching an English club. But what works in Amorim's favour is the fact that he is a serious winner, not just with Sporting, but ever since he set his eyes on becoming a manager, which was quite early in his career. The Portuguese manager was playing alongside one of the greatest footballers in the game, Cristiano Ronaldo, up until 2014. Yes, that's how young Amorim is. The new United manager is just 9 days older than Ronaldo. And given how he started his managerial career 8 years ago, it proves how invested the Portuguese has been in becoming one. He quit his playing career very early on at the age of 31, pretty much at his prime. But Amorim knew he would become a better manager than a footballer, so he started his journey with the special one, Jose Mourinho. Not as an assistant manager, but he undertook a postgraduate degree under then Manchester United manager Mourinho in 2017, the foundation for his career, and that is where it all began for Amorim, but not without its fair share of controversies. His eagerness in becoming a manager quite early in his career landed him in trouble. In 2018, Amorim took up the job of managing Portuguese third-tier club Casa Pia, but without proper qualification and approvals of the UEFA. The result? Amorim was handed a 12-month ban from the dugout, which was eventually lifted. But then he made a quick move to another Portuguese club, Braga. He was the manager of their B side, but just months into his job, he was promoted to manage the senior setup. And in his limited stint with Braga, Amorim impressed Sporting CP, his current club. Club paid the $11 million release clause to secure his services, and since then he has taken Sporting to great heights. Amorim took Sporting to their first league title in 19 years. In his first full season in charge, he repeated the feat last season as well. He has won domestic titles and the Super Cup in this time with the Portuguese side. And the extent of the success is such that Amorim's Sporting is now a threat to Pep Guardiola's Manchester City too, and the Portuguese manager believes that might earn him the tag of the new Alex Ferguson.
If we win tomorrow, they will think the new Alex Ferguson has arrived. That will be very difficult. It could increase expectations. I don't know what is better when I start my new adventure.
He sure walks in with a lot of expectations, and given how United fans are eager to bring back the glory days, a Sporting win over Manchester City is bound to bring out all the Alex Ferguson comparisons, because for over a decade now, the United faithfuls have only been hoping for a return of the Fergie time. Could Amorim be the answer?
Time for Last Serve. Prince William's South Africa trip got sporty after he played rugby with local school kids in Cape Town. Take a look. That wraps it up here on First Sports. Do tune in again tomorrow for more perspectives from the world of sports. Till then, bye-bye.
Washington is all set for a presidential battle like no other.
In less than 90 days, it's either going to be him or me sitting in the Oval Office.
Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump.
All we want is one simple thing: get out on Tuesday.
A vice president versus a former president. As we head towards election night, Vantage will be live from the heart of the action. Speaking to voters in this final stretch,
I'm still very undecided.
Very close presidential race.
Tracking the campaigns as they make the last push. From exclusive ground reports to in-depth analysis, this is your one-stop destination for the presidential race. Join us on this special edition of Vantage, live from the White House in Washington, D.C.